to get their absolute best run in those 3 hours in the heats. So I think the Kalinka Cup's going to have a whole lot of action. We should be taking off here in just a minute, and we are going, yeah. So we've got Karterfreak and Zeo both starting out with the Bright first route. There's kind of 2 routes that you can take in Mega Man 4 that most people are going to be doing. That's either Bright first or Pharaoh first. And Pharaoh first is just a little bit faster if everything goes optimally. But of course, that is not always the case. And so the Bright first route is just a little bit slower and a little bit more RNG dependent with those grasshoppers that we just saw some of already, the way that they jump. But it's also a good bit less mash intensive, and you can kind of usually get runs started a little bit easier. We'll also see when we get into Pharaoh that having Brightman's weapon is going to make things just a little bit easier for a really important moment that's coming up. Both of these runners are very talented runners. Karterfreak, you might know if you're familiar with classic Mega Man world as a really good Mega Man 11 runner, among some other things. A little bit newer to Mega Man 4, but improving really, really quickly. And Zeo has been around for a while and has kind of come back with this tournament going on. And so this has been a lot of fun seeing kind of old and new faces coming around to Mega Man 4, having a good time with the game. And oh man, and Zeo takes a death on those little platforms. These can be a little awkward with the way they move, and I think he might I didn't quite see what happened there, but I think he might have gotten his jump eaten by the movement of the platform. That is unfortunate because it's going to put him back a ways to and do these grasshoppers again and everything. Meanwhile, Karterfreak's on the Brightman fight, doing this with Buster only, as you are obviously forced to if you do that first. You want to make sure that Brightman doesn't do his flash attack. And so we didn't see any of those from Carter. That's because of really careful manipulation of his health values. So we saw him start out with a charge shot, but then hit Brightman with a single lemon to do 1 damage. And that's just going to get his health values so that if you do nothing else but charge shots, you won't hit health values of 16, 8, and 4 for Brightman. And so that prevents him from doing that flash attack. There's actually a lot of manipulation of the bosses in this game. We've got a few fights that are entirely scripted, and then we've got some that just kind of do some very specific things to make sure that certain attacks don't happen. Now we're on to Pharaoh stage for Carter, and we're seeing the Bright fight for Zeo. This is where I mentioned having the weapon from Brightman, the Flash Stopper, is going to be extremely useful. Oh no! So using the Flash Stopper is great to get across that quicksand, and you don't have to worry about the enemies coming out. Okay. But then we need to make that jump across the pit to get a very important item, and that's the balloon. And so Carter, realizing didn't make the jump, it's probably going to be better off to take a death and restart rather than continue. So Carter hadn't made it to the checkpoint yet and just said, I'm going to have this enemy kill me, and we're going to give that another go. Zeo does make it out of Brightman, and so now he's going to be going to Pharaoh. And so with Zeo taking that death and then Carter doing electing to take a death, we're already kind of a good bit closer now. Okay, so there's the balloon item. That's going to be very useful. We'll see it all throughout the run. And in several different stages, it's going to be able to save quite a bit of time. And then the other nice thing about the balloon is it teleports you forward in the stage, actually. So where Carter had fallen down in that pit and then just elected to die, had not made it to this checkpoint yet. When you get the balloon, it actually teleports you forward in the stage a little bit towards the midpoint checkpoint. So it's good for that reason as well. And yeah, and Zeo also did not make the jump, so now we're seeing this different route to get back to that same spot. Zeo decided just go with Bright and try and make it through that section as quickly as as possible. This might mean some kind of creative, improvisational strategies without Balloon. And so it's always interesting to see if Zio's kind of prepared for those things, or if that'll give him troubles later. Pharaoh Man's a pretty straightforward fight. What you want him to do is what he's doing for Carter right now, just doing those charge shots over and over, and you're also going to be doing charge shots. That's the quickest way to deal damage. Pharaoh's weakness is actually the Flash Stopper, but while Pharaoh's the only boss that can be damaged while you have Flash Stopper going, you still have to wait for the iframes, and you can only shoot lemons. So it actually ends up being a slower fight. So charge shots are the way to go. Alright, we'll see how Zio does. Carter did have a pretty nice fight with Pharaoh. I think missed one shot, but that I believe was it. It's also nice. Pharaoh's the only main stage boss in this game that does not do 8 points of contact damage. So since he jumps around a good bit, it's pretty easy to take a body hit, but he doesn't hit quite as hard as some of the other bosses. And so we're immediately seeing some balloon action from Carter. This is the very beginning of Ring Stage. Ring Stage is always going to be a fairly exciting stage. There's a lot of damage boosting that's going to be going on. There's a lot of just kind of lag management, and it's a very tough boss fight. We'll see when we get there. So should be kind of exciting. Now, Zio's not going to have Balloon to do those strats we just saw from Carter on this little vertical climb. So we'll see if he's got... Okay, so he is going for Bright for the backup. I think that's a smart choice. Going to be a little bit slower, but it's not actually a huge difference right here. Probably just a couple of seconds. And we've seen Carter already go through one mini boss, the big hippo, and then there's another one with that ring thrower and another hippo. They decided with Ringman stage, let's just put just about every mini boss possible in this stage. Luckily, you can skip them, but it's going to take some health from you. So we already see Carter's at fairly low health. Moving along these platforms really well, though. There you go. It takes a little hesitation to ensure that that little Saturn guy doesn't give him a bonk. There we go. And so Carter was in a pretty good situation health-wise, so he could just slide into that last mini-boss. That is also an 8-point damage on contact situation. So now Carter's at 4. This means any hit from Ringman would kill him. It's 4 hits for the ring and 8 for contact. However, Ringman is entirely scripted, so Carter did really well. Had a slight hiccup with getting the Pharaoh shot above his head to hit, but then stayed cool, handled it really well, and finished off the fight. Zio had a little bit of an exciting moment there with the Saturns and the platform kind of messing with him, but is looking fine on Pharaoh ammo, looking fine on health. Okay, and yep, gonna fly right through there, but in the exact same situation, so 4 HP, will get killed by any touch from Ringman. So it's always exciting. We'll talk about Dust Stage in just a second here. Let's see this fight. Very good. Gonna take it. Oh, see, that's tough. Being at 4 HP, the rings still do 4. Yeah, it's a tough fight. As I mentioned, it should be entirely scripted, but that still means you have to do everything perfectly. So, by no means a freebie. Oh, man, and then, so just going over to Carter's screen, is in Dustman, and in the room that he just died in there, we call that the lag room, because it is laggy. Carter's using the Pharaoh strats. This is a little bit tougher, in my opinion, but ideally a little bit faster than using Flash Stopper. And when you get into that lag room, it is nice because you can throw Pharaoh shot at angles. And so you can hit some of these guys as they spawn, but you need to throw them really precisely, and then of course have your movement be very precise. And I don't know if it was just jumping a hair late or not high enough, but Carter did end up on the spikes there. Oh, and Again, yeah, the lag makes it real tough. That looked like a slide when it should have been a jump, so I don't know if that was an input issue or if it was the lag. But it's real easy to have mistakes there. And so just like that, now Zio is in the lead because Carter's going to take that game over and then coming back to Dustman. So it's a tight one. And so we do see Zio going with the flash stopper, so it's kind of interesting. We'll see these side by side. Oh man, see, and then that's what's really tough about those Pharaoh strats is doing those downward shots. You have to do it at just the right spot because those little gap stoppers are going to be flying up. There you go. So Carter's going to take it a little bit safer there and make sure that those guys don't troll him again. Zio did make it through, had to do a little bit of hesitation, and certainly we can understand why you would want to take it a little bit safe after seeing the way this room has treated Carter. Carter's also going to go a little bit safer now, make sure kills off those guys, but you can still see we got a drop there, and that, man, those drops just kill the lag, make it even worse. You want to kill these guys, but you do not want them to drop anything. Zio's onto this Crusher section, and he's elected to go with... Oh, no. He elected to go with Buster. You'll see, yeah, Carter going with Ring. A lot of folks go Ring. Either one is fine. The only thing is with Buster, you're going to have to switch to Ring for the boss fight, and so it adds one menu. But some folks, myself included, find Buster to be a good bit easier to use than Ring, so I can understand why he's going for that. Carter took it nice and safe, made sure he got through, and so just like that, we've got another lead change. Carter's back ahead by just about one screen. Carter's conserving the ammo there, and that little dancing Met. This guy actually takes 3 hits with the Buster or Ring, and so we see Zio use a charge shot, take care of him. Carter on Ring just elected to D-boost through it. Not a big difference there. Ring is, of course, our weakness for Dustman, and what we do not want to see is exactly what happens to Carter, where we get a suck. But luckily, he was doing just fine on health, so he just was able to run into Dustman and get him to cancel that. Zio came in with a charge shot, which is certainly fine, and then had a little bit of trouble dealing with Dust shots coming at him, but no problem. He was still getting his hits in. Makes it through no problem. So Carter's got a little bit of a lead, but it's pretty close. Pretty close going into Skull. This is going to be a situation where we see the lack of balloon showing up for Zio. There is a very cool little trick. I'll let Carter do it here, and then we'll talk about it. Very nicely done. So that is almost certainly the only zip that we're going to see in this run. If you're familiar with Mega Man 1, 2, or 3, you might know that zips were fairly common in those games. By the time we got to Mega Man 4, the developers did not want to see Mega Man getting flown through those stages, and especially with an item like Balloon that would be really good for zips. They made it so that actually when you get pushed up by the balloon into a ceiling or wall or whatever, it will kill you. And so we saw Carter take some really specific damage right as that balloon was pushing him into the ceiling, and that's what allowed him to zip through that wall. It's not a huge time save, but it's fairly easy, and it is significant enough. Meanwhile, we see Zio just going with Buster the whole way, and he handled it really fine. Lost just a little bit of time from not doing the zip and not having the... Oh, no! And not having the balloon to get him up the vertical sections. But then Carter was real low on health and just missed one of those Buster shots. Those while they're frozen, the Skeleton Joes take 3 hits, and he only got 2 to land. And so again, just like that, Zio is in the lead now. Let's see how he handles this last little red screen. He's a bit low on health, just because if the dust fight goes off the rails, again, 8 contact damage, and Dust moves pretty quickly. But Dust's pattern is also completely determined. So Dust only responds to what you do. If you come into this fight and just don't move, neither will Dustman. You can just have an epic stare down. And so they're both going to manipulate him to fire those shots at the beginning, and both did that fight very well. They handled exactly what Dust gave them, got their hits in as quickly as they could, and they both got pretty short shields from Dustman. So good fights, and again, just a couple seconds separating them through our first 5 Robot Masters. Okay, so now we are into Dive Man. Dive Man stage is significant, mostly because this is our token water stage. And one of the greatest things about Mega Man 4, in my opinion, is that the movement and sliding is really intuitive. So you can slide and then jump straight out of your slides in every stage except for Dive Man and Wily 1. So when there's water in the screen, for whatever reason, you cannot jump out of your slide. So that means you're going to have to either slide cancel by hitting backwards, or hit A to cancel your slide and then hit A again to jump. So it's very similar to Mega Man 6's movement, which is a little bit more difficult. And so especially if you're used to the Mega Man 4 movement and then you get down into Dive Man stage, it's really easy to accidentally slide into spikes and all the other deadly dangers of this stage. Both runners are doing quite well so far. We see Carter has gained some ground on Zio just from some nice efficient movement and clearing these screens quickly. And so now Carter's back in the lead. They're both exactly out of Bright right now. And so we'll see if they end up both going. Okay, so Zio's going to go to Buster. The strat, that jump is tight. The strat that Carter used there to use the skull shield is a really good one, and then you're obviously set up to have skull for the Dive Man fight. But it's also really easy to use a ton of ammo. Skull shield does not have great ammo conservation. So Carter did really well, though, hitting Dive Man with these skulls as soon as his iframes are up. Good quick fight. Zio again coming in with that charge buster shot. I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool idea to just move the menu just a hair later and get that hit in right away. That's not a bad idea. And no wire, no. We did miss the only other optional pickup beside the balloon, the wire item. You really don't want to go down there. Instead of getting teleported forward to a checkpoint, like with balloon, you get teleported backwards. It's a bad thing. Don't want to do it. All right, so Carter had a really good stage there. We can see, behind by a few seconds going into that stage, and now ahead by looks like a little over 10 seconds, maybe 12 seconds now. So it'll be interesting to see if he can hang on to that lead or if we have any more shakeups. See, Zio taking things a little bit more conservative in the ammo department, especially doing a lot more buster, whereas Carter is utilizing that flash stopper, especially in these early screens. Probably not a huge difference. Though we do see Zio take some more damage, and so he elected to go up and grab that health. The room that Carter just went through can be a real pain without Bright, or if you're just a little bit late on hitting the flash stopper as you come through. We want to see, and we'll see it with Zio here, we want to see the flash right as you come into the screen so that these enemies don't have a chance to shoot. Oh, and there they did, but Zio just elected to take the damage boost. That was a pretty smart play. And then all throughout here, we're just using that flash stopper to maneuver as quickly and as safely as possible through all the falling rocks, all the enemies and the pits. It's really dependent on good, clean movement. Oh, and Zio gets a nice little drop there from that guy. That's, I'm sure, not gonna upset him. Carter Freak's going up against Drill Man, so off the bat, we're seeing a good pattern from Drill so far. Oh, and of course, there's the Jink. Drill Man can do this attack where, well, I shouldn't even call it an attack, where he dives down, and when he does that, obviously you can't hit him. You just saw the missiles dink off of him when he begins it. It loses a little over 4 seconds, I believe. And so, man, that's 3 dives from Carter. That is not what you want to see. You're always going to start the fight with 1, but then after that, it's totally random. And Zio almost had a really good one. He gets one right at the end. Hopefully that will be the only one. Oh, man, the drunk missile, though. Those missiles are not the greatest at tracking on to enemies. Looks real funny from a casual point of view, gets real frustrating as a runner. All right, so that is 7 RoboMasters down. Carter did extend the lead a little bit through there, and so going into Toadman, this is a fairly straightforward stage, but a pretty technical stage. There's going to be a lot of utilization of Flash Stopper and a real emphasis on clean movement with some funky physics. So with the rain falling on you here, it's actually pushing Mega Man back. And so you can see as Carter makes those jumps, you're not getting the same distance on your jumps you normally would. And so those jumps to the platforms are actually pretty tight. They can be real scary. And then in this room that you're at now, we've got all these flowing water that kind of pushes you around and also makes jumping out of your slides a little awkward. So it can be a little scary. Carter handles it real well. Zio handles the first screen really well. So no issues there. We do have some more mini bosses that we're going to have to skip by. Kind of classic Mega Man 4. That was Gary the Snail. Gary the Snail just looked like a green blur, kind of like what we did to the whales in Dive Man. We kind of flash them right as they come onto the screen, and then you'll take a hit from their hitbox, but there's nothing preventing you from just running right through to the next screen. So we see Zio doing the same thing. Carter did really well on that last screen. We got some more water to get in your way and some a little bit tight platforming. But Carter handled it no problem. Now we're on to the toughest boss in the game, Toadman. You're gonna be really glad you have his weakness, because I just don't know if I could beat him without it. There we go. Carter has no issues. So let's see. Let's see what the teleport time is here. 22:43 looked like for the 8 robos for Carter. Zio going into this treacherous Toadman fight. Toadman's just having a little rave, throwing his hands up in the air like he just don't care. Zio taking some frustrations out with the drill bombs. He's out at 08. So I'm going to do some quick math. We're talking, let's see, 25 seconds. So not a big difference. Less than 30 seconds coming out of 8 robos. We saw, some issues there. The front half of the 8 robos for each of them. But then on the back half, both runners did really well. So, it might have been just some nerves, or maybe just you have one mistake and it snowballs a little bit. But then for Carter, I think it was after that game over in Dust, has really been putting together a great performance since then. And Zio also had those little issues in Dust on the Crusher, but since then they've both been doing really well. Carter's running through Cossack 1. We saw Zio run over there to the left at the very beginning of the stage. There's an E-tank hidden in the snow there. I never knew about that playing casually. I just learned about it somewhat recently, and that's a great little safety if you're ever playing through this game. Nice free E-tank. This is going to be our requisite ice physics stage, and so it is a little scary. You really want to just have nice, clean movement. Keep running, keep going in one direction. Oh, that's a cool strat from Zio, using the rain flush to clear out those guys and not have to worry about dinking shots. And then go into Bright. I have seen people do this before. Go into Bright to cover this section with the Skeleton Joes, and really importantly, with these super annoying little gap blockers. But you see, he's just flashing as soon as they come around and getting rid of them. That's a great idea. My only concern, though, is with using the Rain Flush and the Flash Stopper, how ammo conservation is going to go for him. Theoretically, shouldn't be a big deal. And we know he doesn't have Balloon either. I really like this, just using Rush Coil. Rush is a good dog. Good boy. I'm guessing he's going to switch to Jet here. Yep, I'm going to take Jet rather than trying to do this kind of awful little ladder part. And I skipped right over karterfreak having a really great fight on Mothraia. Mothraia is a tricky boss for a couple of reasons. Zio's having some troubles with the ladder there. But the main reason is all of the weapons in Mega Man 4 have just a 1 pixel hitbox. Which is pretty frustrating sometimes. And then Mothraia's hitbox to do damage is just that little red blinking light. And so it's not really Mothraia's hitbox as much as the Ring's hitbox that can be a pain. Like we just saw from Zio, just barely missing the hit by probably about 1 pixel. But combined, those are very easy to miss shots with. We saw Carter do, oh no! Carter did a really good job making it across that spike room. That's using the balloon there is quite a bit faster than what would kind of be the quote-unquote normal strat of using the rush jet. I think that's what most people do in a casual playthrough, and certainly a viable strategy for a speedrun as well. But now Carter's kind of in this awkward spot where took a death after the spike room. I'm guessing gonna stick with the balloon for the spike room, but yeah, grabs the extra ammo pickup just to ensure that there's no issues there. Meanwhile, we see Zio going with the rush jet strat, so you can kind of compare them side by side. Zio got a little bit of a head start from that death, but they're gonna, Carter's gonna actually get to the end of the stage just a little bit quicker. So that was pretty cool to see that head to head of the two different strats. Carter is a little bit low on health again, though, and this is certainly the danger with using that balloon. Oh man, he's at 1 HP. Very nice pickup, but then takes a hit. But yeah, with all those balloon strats, you're gonna be taking deboost. There's just no way around it. And so he should be in good shape for the boss, but you don't have a whole lot of room for error. Meanwhile, Zio had just a little bit of trouble using the rush jet. Again, I'm not sure if that's his usual strats or not, but without balloon, it's really the only option he had. Oh, and then that was a smart little pickup to just grab that that ammo, because as I mentioned, if he's planning on using Bright other places, that'll come in. Ooh, and Carter's starting out with really good RNG. Gets the 1 pass square machine. Square machine can either do 1, 2, or 3 passes before forming together so that you can actually do damage. And so you want to see a 1. And Carter looking like a 1-2. That's a really good RNG for Carter. Meanwhile, Zio gets the 3, which is the worst case scenario. So that will be a little bit of a difference just there. Now, Carter wasn't able to finish in 2 cycles. 2 cycles, what you want to do, though it's certainly not easy. Carter's going to be 1 hit away. And Square was still pretty friendly, though. Gave him another 2, so he went 1-2-2. Zio, I believe, went 3-3. And we'll see if he can pull off the 2 cycle. It's going to take 5 hits, and yeah, I don't think that's going to be possible. So he's 2 hits away. He's going to get a 3 pass, and oh man, a 3-3-3. So Zio got the absolute worst possible luck, whereas Carter got pretty good luck. All right, but Zio does finish it off. And so again, man, what an exciting race this has been. We've had all kinds of changes, and with some mistakes from Carter, Zio got right back in there, but then with a combination of some pretty good luck and some pretty good execution, is able to get that lead kind of right back to where it was. We're now on to the classic Cossack 3 auto-scroller. Luckily, it's a great song because auto-scroller in a Mega Man game, it's disappointing. But it is a great song, and it's kind of a cool stage design. But you are just going to be kind of jumping across these platforms, playing it pretty safe. Oh man, and I don't know what happened to Zio there. But see him loading in, so he must have taken a fall. At the very beginning there, we do have some enemies that shoot at you. There's not a whole lot of enemies in this stage in general. It's really just the platforming, but at the very beginning here, these turrets are real annoying. So I don't know if that's what got him or if it was one of these little guys going around the platforms. Carter electing to use Ring for the kind of middle part of the stage there, and then going all the way to the refill. So that is nice. We used Ring on Mothraia, and we're going to need quite a bit of Ring ammo for later on. And so we are going to get those pickups. So Carter's going to be at full Ring ammo, and then is using the Pharaoh shot. If you just have it hanging out above your head like this, you're not going to use any ammo, and you can still kill these guys. And then Pharaoh shot is also going to be the weakness for the cockroaches. So the bosses here, you'll be all ready to go. Oh no, Zio fell down. Looks like instead of going with Ring, he's using some rush strats, but then these little guys, oh yeah, that's going to be awkward. These little guys defending the platforms are a real pain. So Ring is one of the few things that can hurt them, which is kind of the main reason that a lot of people will go to Ring. Zio likes to go with Drill Bomb there. That works as well. Oh, and Carter just one hit away on the very last one, and that's a game over too. Oh no! So just had a little slip off the platform, and it's a dirty boss fight there, because you don't have any option. If you're really quick on it, the only way that I know to get out of that spike room if you fall down, if you're really quick and you have iframes, you can maybe use Rush Coil, but even that is difficult. So that's a tough one. It would be a significant time loss, even if it was just going back to the checkpoint, because this game is a little evil and puts the checkpoints in the middle of the stage instead of at the boss corridor. But then even on top of that, with the game over, going back to the beginning, we're talking about 3-minute time loss. So yeah, Barrel Rats points out a good one. Oh man. So on the upside, Carter is fine on ammo, no issues there. But Zio has the exact same issue. Takes a death during the cockroaches and has to do a game over as well. So Carter's back in the lead now. We'll see what's going on with Zio. Might just need a moment to compose himself. I can only imagine the frustration. And it's so easy to do. The cockroaches are one of those. I mean, this whole stage is just kind of deceptively simple. It seems so straightforward, but it's a very small margin of error between perfectly fine walk in the park and just absolute death and destruction of your time. It's a brutal stage. All right, Carter's back at the cockroaches. We'll see how the fight goes for him this time. And was 1 HP away on the last one too. And Carter's doing this fight really well. We see getting that double hit as they come out. Really has the strats perfect. Just had that little slip last time, and there we go, and finishes him right at the top. That was perfect boss fight. That went absolutely wonderfully. So, like I said, it's just one of those things that can go, just fine, and it seems so easy, and then you do it the next day, and it's absolutely impossible. All right, so we are on to Cossack 4. We are going to fight the big bad main boss of this guy of this game. Of course, this was the big departure away from Wily as the main villain. Now Dr. Cossack's our villain. And we will also have the introduction of the namesake of this tournament, Kalinka Cossack, Dr. Cossack's daughter. We'll see her coming up in just a little bit. Alright, Zio's into our cockroach fight now. Gets the sweet little airwalk as he comes in. He's actually using drills on the cockroaches. This is interesting. I don't know if I've seen anybody do this particular strat. I'm worried about the drill bomb ammo then, because you are gonna need drill, besides just for the Toad refight, but also for a couple of the bosses later on. So I'm a little bit worried about his ammo there, but I'm sure he's got a plan. Carter's making quick work of the Cossack 4 stage, going into the Cossack catcher fight. We're gonna see Dr. Cossack and a big old claw machine. Gonna be trying to take those little crab leg looking things and grab onto Mega Man. Meanwhile, Carter's gonna be kind of messing with Dr. Cossack because his AI is kind of programmed to only change patterns to move and attack when you are not sliding. And so we'll see a lot of runners, and what Carter's doing right now, just kind of drawing him out and then going way over and sliding into the corner and preventing Dr. Cossack from doing much of anything. Here's Kalinka Cossack. Wait a minute, did she say her father's not evil? Dr. Wily had just kidnapped her and Proto Man saved her? Oh my god. Dr. Wily's back at it. This is ridiculous. One time I thought we had made it. So there's Dr. Wily showing up. Turns out Cossack's not such a bad guy. So Kalinka has been saved. Cossack is not going to be destroyed by Mega Man, I guess. But Wily escapes. And so, of course, our work is not done. We got to chase him down. All right, Carter is going into the extremely unique and often frustrating Met stage. Every single enemy in here is Met. It is themed after a bathroom because that's where the Mets live, apparently. And it's a tough stage because Carter's doing a great job, by the way. Because Mets are obviously known for being annoying enemies where you got to make sure that you are hitting them right as they open before they start shooting at you. If you're a little bit early, you just dink it off of them. If you're a little bit late, you get hit, you lose time. So it's a very technical stage. And then we also have some underwater sections here, which is scary for the same reasons as they were in Dive Man. Oh, and Zio having some trouble with old Dr. Cossack. Maybe we can't completely say he's not a bad guy because he did just kill Zio. Oh no, okay, this is my greatest nightmare. I'm having an anxiety attack for Carter. Okay, let's see. Oh man. If you don't make that jump using Jet, these Yoku blocks are just evil. It's really hard, and then so you can't really make it back. Okay, nice, well done. You can't really make it back to where you started with Jet because the Yoku blocks will block you, and getting that rush coil, that's the right thing to do, but getting that up onto the blocks is very easy to screw up. So lost a little bit of time, but did not die, didn't have anything tragic, handled it really, really well. And then we do see Zio the second time. He used Dust instead of just using Charge Buster like we saw from Carter. Dust is a weakness for the boss there. Works really well. The only issue, kind of like we mentioned before, is ammo. I'm a little concerned about Zio's ammo. Using a lot of drill bombs, I think he's totally out, and then using Dust for that fight, so he'll probably have to get some refills. Yeah, the castle checkpoints are so strange in this game. Obviously, like Cossack 3 is a particularly evil one because it's not a scroller, but then Cossack 4, it's like it puts you right before the boss corridor. It's like they could just be a bro about it and let you start out right at the boss corridor. But in the immortal words of Mellowflow's, C4 isn't even a stage. Carter's into one of my favorite stages because we're going to have a whole lot of dog strats. We're going to be using Rush Jet from this moment for most of the stage, and so it's always kind of fun. In this stage, just kind of seeing Rush fly down through the screen, maybe show it for a little bit. Oh no, Zio took a death in the bathtub. I don't know if that was spikes. I didn't catch it. I just saw the death explosion. There you go. Carter making that tight little jump around there. That's that looks easy, but trust me, it's not. And then we got some more little. Let's see if he uses. So he does the corner jump. There's a couple different ways to tackle that room. That corner jump is tough, but handles it no problem. Let's watch Zio do this room that gave Carter a little bit of trouble. Ooh, I'm a little worried about that. Yep, same situation. Okay, let's see. He's going to go to coil also. Ahmad letting us know that you can make that jump without coil. I wasn't aware of that. I can barely make it with coil. And I think Zio's kind of having this realization. This is going to be a little tricky. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay, handled it well. Meanwhile, Carter's on Taco Trash, the octopus-themed trash compactor or something like that. And he went with a little bit riskier strat. You can use the drill bombs to just destroy Taco Trash's hitbox and stand inside him, which is really cool. But Carter just went straight to ring and kind of did the fight in essentially the intended way. Saves you a menu, and he handled it very well. Had no issues there. He's gonna have to get some weapon refills. I think he's probably just gonna take the safe and get his ring all the way full. Probably get some refills for Dust and maybe Pharaoh. I didn't quite catch where his levels were at. Oh no, he's just skipping those. Okay. He's in fine shape for Dust. I guess I forgot he had that game over, so that gave him some ammo. And he's in fine shape for Pharaoh too. I would have understood if he wanted to pick up a little extra, because Pharaoh is what you'll need for the final Wily stage. And then Zio kind of doing some improv. I think he ran out of ring there, and so that was why he switched to Dust, but was able to finish off. Met Daddy again. Keep saying it, but I'm a little worried about Zio's ammo. I don't know quite how some of these refights will go. Missing so much ammo, but I'm sure he's got a plan. Meanwhile, Carter using the soft weakness for Pharaoh. Dust is a great option. It's going to do 2 damage. Oh, Zio picked the wrong path. Went straight. Oh, he might, you know what? He might be going for just, I think that was just intended. Go for the game over, and that's a great way to refill your ammo for sure. Yeah, that was definitely what he was going for there. But yeah, with Pharaoh, Dust is going to do 2 damage, and the strat that we saw originally using Buster, Charge Buster does 3, but you can shoot the Dust shot so much faster that it's actually a little bit quicker of a fight. And then you're, of course, going to use that Dust for Skull Man. We use Skull for Dive Man. And now we're going to see something kind of cool. Just like I mentioned at the very beginning, on how you want to get Bright on certain health values so that he doesn't do his flash attack. using the skull shield there, and that's really just because you already have it equipped from Dive Man, and so you're just trying to save a menu. Uses that skull shield, hits him 5 times. As long as you hit him an odd amount of times, then once you go to the Rain Flush, which does 4 damage, since he's on those odd values, he's not going to hit 16, 8, or 4, so he won't flash you. Now we're into our RNG buddy, Drill Man again, so the first dive is always intended. We'll see if we can get some good luck. Oh, we got a dive. Okay. 1 is not terrible. Once we start having more than 1, then it starts getting a little... Oh, there's 2. Drill Man's also a boss that can do a good bit of damage, because, again, 8 damage on contact, and then the drills do 4, I believe, and so it can be kind of awkward. Zio's having some trouble with this room. I mentioned when Carter was here that using Rush, the Carter used Rush Jet there, whereas Zio's using Rush Coil, but Carter made it look easy. I said it's not as easy as he made it look, and then Zio's just kind of showing how awkward that room can be. Carter's into this ring refight again. For whatever reason, you can't get your Pharaoh Shot charged before the fight like you do in the normal Ringman fight, so you're going to have to hit him with a couple uncharged ones. And really, you just don't want to lose much ammo there. You want to make sure that you're fairly accurate with your hits so that you still have plenty of ammo. Carter took some damage, but not a big deal. He got the health refill. We want Dustman to not suck, and he didn't, and he even went over to the left side, let him pick up the health nice and free there, so that was cool. Zio using that drill bomb strat to take out the hitbox, and now he's just chilling inside Taco Trash, hitting him with rings, nice and easy. Carter's also using rings. He's taking out the Wily Machine. We get this lovely noise. And he's doing a good job. Nice short hops, avoiding the pink Hadoukens coming out. And then you switching to Drill Bomb for that very last hit. That's going to be important because the explosion actually causes the health filling animation to skip. And then on your next Drill Bomb, it'll do double damage. The damage kind of exists, it just doesn't show up as that fills. So then when you hit the second time, it looks like it does a ton of damage. So Carter had a really nice Wily Machine fight. He's going to be headed into our Wily Capsule, our very, very last stage. I think he's fine on Pharaoh ammo, maybe just a little bit lower than absolutely ideal, but shouldn't have any issues. Zio's making his way into the refights. Got Drill Bomb equipped to start out with, so we'll see if he just sticks with that and goes Toadman first. Might do a little bit different route through the refights than what we saw with Carter. Alright, let's keep an eye on Carter's screen, see what we're really looking... Oh, he's totally fine on Pharaoh ammo. What we're really looking for are double hits with that one above. Wasn't quite able to get the second part, but there you go. So gets 1 from each. He's in good shape. Health is fine right now. Okay, he's just going to wait. Not great spawns. Wily's not being real kind to him, but there's a... Oh, was going to go for a double and then got hit there. Oh, there it is. Very nice. Looked like 48-13. Might have been a 48-12. But that will do it. That's a win. A nice completed run from Carter. And Zio is working his way through these refights. All right, come on, dive. Be a good dude. Getting some missiles, not being all that precise with with their tracking onto the boss, and then he gets that dive right at the end. I think that's kind of the same thing he had with his original drill fight. Almost made it all the way through with no dives. Let's see. Yeah, he's going in a different order than I'm used to. Let's see how he gets those damage values set up for Bright. I don't know. Okay, so he's just going to go with Buster. I wouldn't be surprised. He might just do this as a full Buster fight. Yeah, looks like it. And honestly, if you're used to doing the bright fight with Buster, stick with what you're used to. That's fine. There we go. Nice fight. Picking up the health, staying in good shape there. Switch over to Zio's audio here. Looks like for Pharaoh's going to be doing the same thing, just going with the Buster fight that he's used to seeing. Pharaoh was being cool for a little while there, and now is jumping around. But no issues. Got it taken care of. Now here's Ring. Okay, so that's kind of a cool way to start it off. Get a couple of those Buster hits in, and that is going to make sure that he's in really good shape. I mean, Pharaoh ammo is extremely full, so going into the capsule, that's at least one less thing to worry about. Dive Man, you're just kind of playing jump rope with him. There we go. That missile was being a little bit of a pain to Zio, but again, no problem. You can always grab that health. Get this Dust fight again, trying to manipulate Dust AI there, and he did give him a really short shield, which is great. How long he leaves that shield up can be completely random, and so that looked to be the shortest possible shield, so that's great to see. Into this Wily machine fight. Again, we get to hear the lovely noise of the ring hitting the machine. So they like to just finish him off with Ring, and so we can see the difference there with the health refilling. Okay. Went down to Dust. I got a little confused, but just going to an E-Tank, that certainly makes sense because, man, especially if Wily decides to kind of trap you in the short side of the screen here, which he's kind of doing, it can be tough to avoid those, and if you're worried about health, just taking that E-Tank and then firing him off as quick as possible certainly makes sense. So no problem, he's out of the Wily machine, and we just got the Caterpillar hallway and the capsule to go. So he's actually switching to Pharaoh a little bit earlier than I would expect. Looks like, yeah, it looks like he's just going to deboost through these guys. I'd be a little concerned about that. Well, he got some health drops from it. Just because health can be a little bit tricky on this fight. The way these little shots come at you when you're kind of focused on trying to hit the capsule, they can be hard to dodge if you have your attention focused on Wily. And then just like we saw there, you can also get the contact damage. So I'm a little concerned. I wouldn't hate to see an E-Tank here for Zio to make sure he's safe. But he's doing a good job dodging. Oh, just a touch late. Capsule disappears really quickly. Oh no! Yeah, and there it is. Those shots are a little tough to dodge. He's still fine on Pharaoh ammo. That's usually the biggest issue if you die in this fight, is just not having enough ammo for the second time around. The capsule is immune to everything but Pharaoh shot and Ring and wire, but obviously we don't have wire. And so it's always an issue because you you probably don't have either any or very much ring, and then your Pharaoh shot can be pretty low as well. So ammo can be a real concern here. One more hit. There we go. Nice. Finishes it off 54-54. Awesome. So big GG, big congrats to both karterfreak and Zio. And it looks like Carter's going to be able to jump in and give us an interview. I'm not sure if Zio will be able to or not, but hey, Carter, welcome in.
Hey,
win.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was really surprised that I didn't lose after that death in Cossack 3. I was just
Yeah, you guys both had some unfortunate ones, and so I'm sure you probably weren't seeing it, but Zio also took a death on the cockroaches that led to a game over. So you both had the same death in Cossack 3.
dang. Okay, I wouldn't expect that, but
Yeah,
that's what races are like, right?
Yeah, that's man. Best of one race is classic mega. Anything can happen, right?
Yeah. It was definitely a bit of start of the run. I missed the jump for Pharaoh to get the balloon. I had a really bad dust, and just it felt like it got worse and worse from there.
Well, and I felt like after that game over in Dust, you put together a good back half of the 8 robos. I didn't know if that kind of helped you just like calm down and just go for it in the last 4. But yeah, after the rough start, I thought you did pretty well up until Cossack 3, really. I guess that was the one that hurt.
Yeah, there was an error in Cossack 2 as well, but outside of that, like you're right. The later half of the 8 robos went pretty good.
Yeah, we saw a lot of kind of back and forth. It was really pretty exciting because Zio had a death in Brightman, but then you missed the balloon, and so you guys kind of kept going back and forth with small mistakes here and there. But then you started pulling ahead towards the back half of that 8 robos, and it was looking pretty good. And then the Cossack 3 for both runners was tragic. So it ended up being a pretty exciting race all the way through the back half.
Well, I'm glad it was exciting to watch. At least I'll be honest with you. Like every single inch of my body was like just fighting to not press Control R to reset.
Yeah,
like after that Cossack 3, I'm just like, oh my god, why?
I certainly understand. Well, I mean, just missing balloon jump, it seems like a reflex to just reset. So yeah. It's hard not to do that in this setting. Jeez. Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes, though.
Yeah, outside of that, though, I wanted to thank the SpeedGaming staff really quickly for quickly rescheduling us because we had some technical difficulties when we were supposed to be running. So huge shout out to everyone from SpeedGaming that made that happen. You guys are awesome. Yeah,
we had a lot of support with this whole tournament, the way we did the heats and then quick reschedules and everything has been pretty awesome. So those guys have been great. It's been very helpful and a lot of fun. I'm really excited for this Kalinka Cup to keep going because I think we're going to have some exciting races. And I imagine you'll have some opportunities to put up a little bit better time than
redemption arc.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get that.
This was the very first race of the Kalinka Cup, though. So you came in as the 3 seed. Zio's the 14 seed. You're going to be moving on. You're facing the winner of Great John and Itchy the Kitty.
All right, awesome.
So yeah, we'll be looking forward to that one. We've got. Let me drop it in chat. The schedule. I think that is that Kalinka or is that Cossack. But yeah, we're gonna have a bunch more races, and I think this is gonna be a pretty fun tournament. On the Kalinka side, I think we could have some crazy upsets and things like that. So it'll be fun to keep watching.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely have to make sure I catch the other races to see who wins out of Ichi and who was the other person you said? Sorry,
Great John.
Great John. Yeah, I have to definitely see who wins that one so I know who I'm facing.
Yeah, I think, and they are up today, so that's going to be our next race in the Kalinka Cup schedule. To give everyone the little programming notes, that's going to be at 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time tonight. So we'll have our first matchup set today. It's going to be Carter Freak versus the winner, Great John and Itchy the Kitty. Well, I don't think I have anything else to add. I want to say thanks to everybody for hanging out. Also, thanks to the SpeedGaming staff again. Carter, you got any last words to leave us with?
No, I think that's about it. Thank you again.
Cool. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Check that schedule for more of the races, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Later.